secrets, the data they paid me to protect.
Are they people?
No.
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today is today's.
Do you understand what she's saying?
I hear it's gibberish. I can't understand it.
And I can.
What's happening to me?
People are starved for the truth.
I'm a part of it now. I'm just sorry that they made you a part of it too.
Hello, Jane. Please, have a seat.
This 79-year terror campaign of lies has to end.
What are you gonna do?
Full disclosure to the whole world.
That truth will upend all established order across the entire world. If you do this, there's no undoing it.
Why would they do this?
When the time is right, everything will become clear.
Whatever happens,
Don't you let go. Imagine waking up tomorrow and every television station, phone, and radio is carrying the same announcement. We are not alone. The government has known for decades and the proof has finally been released. Within minutes, the internet would explode. Some people would celebrate, some would panic, others would refuse to believe it. Stores would empty, phone networks could overload, and millions of Americans would start asking one dangerous question. If they hid something this big, what else are they hiding? This is the world behind Steven Spielberg's new movie, Disclosure Day. I just went and watched it with my family, and overall, I liked the movie. It was entertaining, it had a great concept, and it definitely gave me something to think about. But I also walked out feeling like it could have been better. So today, I want to give a quick review of the movie, explain what it's actually about, talk about what I thought worked well and what didn't, and then we'll look at the entire situation through the eyes of a prepper. Because the most dangerous part of disclosure may not be what comes from another world, but how people down here react to it. What's up, guys? I'm Kelly and this is Patriot Prepper. Before we get started in this video will contain some spoilers. I'm not going to reveal every twist, but I will be discussing the main storyline and several important scenes. If y'all have already watched this movie, please comment below. Tell me what y'all liked about it, what y'all didn't like about it. So what is Disclosure Day about? So Disclosure Day is directed by Steven Spielberg, and it follows two main characters whose lives slowly become connected. The first is Daniel Kellner, right, played by Josh O'Connor. So Daniel, he's a cybersecurity expert, works for a secretive corporation called Wardex. The company has spent decades helping hide evidence of extraterrestrial contact from the public. Daniel eventually learns just how much information has been concealed. All right, he comes to believe that humanity deserves to know the truth, and he steals evidence to attempt to expose it. That decision immediately turns him into a fugitive. Now, his former boss, Noah, played by Colin Firth, believes disclosure could be catastrophic. Noah and his people begin hunting Daniel in an attempt to recover the information before it reaches the public. The movie becomes partially a conspiracy thriller and partially a chase movie. Daniel is trying to survive long enough to release the evidence while Wardex is trying to stop him. At the same time, we meet Margaret Fairchild, played by Emily Blunt. So, Margaret is a television meteorologist and former journalist living in Kansas City. After a strange encounter, she begins experiencing things she can't explain. Her behavior changes. She appears to develop unusual abilities, and she begins realizing that something may have happened in her past. Now, at first, Daniel and Margaret appear to be part of two separate stories. But as the movie moves forward, their paths begin coming together. Margaret's connections to the visitors may be the key to proving Daniel's claims to revealing the truth to the entire world. Then there's also Hugo Wakefield, played by Coleman Domingo, who is connected to Wardex but supports disclosure. Together, these characters represent different sides of the argument. So Daniel believes that people have right to know. Noah believes the truth may cause panic, violence, and worldwide instability. And then there's Margaret. She's pretty much caught in the middle, trying to understand what has happened to her and why is she connected to it. That is really the central conflict of the movie. Okay? Really, does the public deserve the truth, even if the truth can completely destabilize society? So the first thing I liked was the concept. The movie is not mainly about aliens attacking cities or destroying landmarks. It is about secrecy, suppression of information, government contractors, whistleblowers, and the battle to control what the public is allowed to know. I thought the movie was more interesting than another basic alien invasion movie, you know. The movie also has a familiar Steven Spielberg feeling to it. There's mystery, suspense, government conspiracy, family, fear, and a sense of wonder about something larger than humanity. Now, Emily Blunt did a good job portraying someone who feels like she's mostly losing control of her own mind and body while trying to understand what is happening. Josh O'Connor, well, he worked well as Daniel. He's not an action hero who knows exactly what to do. He's an intelligent person who discovers something enormous. He makes a decision and suddenly finds himself being hunted. And then Colin. So Colin Firth was also effective because his character doesn't necessarily view himself as evil. Noah believes he's protecting humanity. That makes the argument more interesting. He is not simply saying we want to keep power. He believes that releasing the truth could cause the government to fall, religions to be shaken, markets to collapse, and nations to turn against one another. And honestly, he may not be completely wrong. The movie also has some good action sequences, strong visuals. It moves quickly and keeps mystery going as the different storylines come together. Now, while I did like this movie, I thought it could have gone much deeper. All right. For the story dealing with potentially the biggest revelation in human history, I wanted to see more reaction from ordinary people, right? We spend most of the movie following Daniel and Margaret and the people chasing them. And that part was entertaining. But I want to see what was happening outside of their story. What were the people seeing online? Were rumors already spreading? Was foreign governments aware of Vortex? You know, what would happen if China or Russia believed that the United States had already recovered technology from another world? How would churches, scientists, military leaders, and the general public react? The movie builds towards worldwide disclosure, but it does not spend enough time showing what that revelation would actually do to society. Several reviews made similar criticism describing the movie as entertaining but saying that characters and larger ideas felt undeveloped. I also thought the movie relied heavily on chase, you know. Wardex is constantly trying to stop Daniel and Margaret, and that gives the movie momentum. But at times it feels like the story was just running past some of the most interesting questions. I would like to have spent less time spending running from one location to another and more time exploring the consequences of what they're about to reveal. I wanted to see families watching the announcement. I wanted to see grocery stores and gas stations, their reactions. I wanted to see military bases going on alert. I wanted to see social media filling with real footage, fake footage, rumors, propaganda, and panic. That would have made the movie feel much larger and more realistic, I believe. So overall, I did like it. I think it is really worth watching, especially if you enjoy conspiracy thrillers or Steven Spielberg's alien movies. But I also believe there was an even better movie hidden inside this story. Now, let's look at Disclosure Day from a prepper's perspective. The first important lesson is that disaster doesn't always begin with physical destruction. Sometimes information itself can create an emergency. Suppose undeniable proof of non human life was released tonight. No alien attack would need to occur. Fear and uncertainty could be enough to disrupt normal life. People would rush to stores. Gas stations would develop long lines. Parents might pull their kids from school. Employees might stay home. Stock markets could fall because, investors, they hate uncertainty. Phone networks and websites become overloaded as millions of people try to contact family or search for information. The visitors might not damage a single building, but human reaction could also affect supply chains, emergency services, and public order. That leads to our first major lesson. Do not react to every rumor. During a major event, accurate information would immediately become mixed with misinformation. There would be fake videos, editing recordings, false government statements, AI generated images, and people pretending to have inside information. Hell, foreign governments might use the confusion to divide people or the public even more, to create panic. A prepared person should not automatically believe the first report. You need multiple sources. Listen to local emergency officials. Monitor national news, but also watch government and agencies, what they're actually doing. Are schools closing? Are flights being grounded? Military bases increasing security? What about financial institutions? Are they limiting transactions? Actions can sometimes tell you more than official statements. At the same time, do not become skeptical that you ignore the real threat. The goal is not to believe everything or disbelieve everything. The goal is to verify that you can make a calm decision with the information available. The next lesson you can learn is family communication. If an announcement like this happened, everyone would immediately reach for their phones. Networks become overloaded, even if nothing physically was damaged. Your family should already know what to do if communication becomes difficult. Who picks up the children? Does everyone immediately come home? What happens when someone is at work several hours away? Where's the backup location? Who is our out of area contact? Your family should not be trying to invent the plan while fighting and separated. As I always say, if your family doesn't know the plan, then you really don't have a plan. The next lesson is why we keep our basic supplies at home. Preparing doesn't mean that you believe aliens are going to land in your backyard. It means you understand how quickly uncertainty can affect human behavior. Having food, water, medicine, lighting, backup power, cash, communication equipment gives your family breathing room. You don't have to rush into a crowded store. You don't have to wait in a 2-hour gas line, right? You don't have to make desperate decisions because you are missing something basic. Even 7 to 14 days of supply could allow you to stay home while the initial panic settles and more reliable information becomes available. Your supplies do not simply just keep you alive. It gives you time to think. Now, one of the biggest lessons from this movie is psychological preparedness. How would you react if something completely changed your understanding of reality? How would your children react? Some people would act excited, some would be terrified, others would go in denial. People could begin questioning their governments, their beliefs, and their own place in the world. In that moment, your family will look at you. And you don't have to have all the answers. All you need to do is remain calm enough to say, we're safe right now. We're together. We're going to follow our plan. We're going to verify the information, and we're going to take this one step at a time. Your calmness could be one of the most important supplies that you have. Daniel's story also gives us an important OPSEC lesson. Information can make somebody valuable, but it can also make them a target. During any major crisis, be careful about what you share online. Do not advertise that your home has food, fuel, medical supplies, weapons, or working communication. Do not post your location or your family's movements. And before sharing breaking information, ask whether it's verified and whether sharing could create unnecessary panic. During a crisis, being the first person to post something is not as important as being accurate and protecting your family. Overall, I enjoyed Disclosure Day. I thought the premise was strong, the acting was good, and the movie raised some interesting questions about truth, secrecy, power, and whether the government has a right to decide what the public can handle. But I also thought the story could have gone further. I wanted to see more of the worldwide reaction and more of what disclosure would mean for ordinary families. From a preparedness standpoint, that is where the real story begins. Because if disclosure ever happened, the first danger might not come from the sky. It could come from panic, misinformation, collapsing trust, and millions of people reacting before they understand what is happening. The movie's biggest question is whether humanity is ready for truth. But the question I would ask is, are you prepared for how humanity might react to this truth? At the very end of the movie, we was left with one word: listen. And then it ended. Let me know in the comments whether y'all seen Disclosure Day and what you thought about it. Did you enjoy the movie? What do you think they could have done better? And what do you believe would happen during the first 24 hours if undeniable proof of extraterrestrial life was released to the public right now? Would it bring us together, or would it tear us further apart? I'm Kelly. This is Patriot Prepper. Remember, those who prepare today survive tomorrow. Thank y'all.